And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at Heckmeck Deluxe. Now this is kind of an interesting game to me because Heckmeck is one of the first games I played when I got into the modern hobby gaming. It came out a long time ago, a little small game from very famous designer Reiner Knizia, and I didn't like it. It was like a Yahtzee style game where you roll dice trying to accomplish something, push your luck style, but I felt it was a little too lucky. Well, now they have a deluxe version with extra rules and more stuff going on, and my opinions have changed over the years. It's probably been a decade or so since I played it, so let's take a look at this one and see what I think now. A bunch of tiles are placed out here. RWP, roasted worm portions. And you'll see 11, 13, and then 21 through 36. Each is worth a certain number of points at the end of the game from 1 to 4. That's how many worms they're worth. So on your turn, you're going to take the dice that are here. You're going to roll the dice. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to roll numbers that will match some of these out here. So when I roll these, I'm going to pick one number and keep all that number. So in this case, I'll keep 4s. I can keep all the 4s. So now I have 12 total. Well, that's not a bad start. Let's roll again. This time I'm going to keep both of the 5s. 12 plus 10 is 22. I'm going to roll again. Now I rolled 5s. I can't keep 5s because I already have a 5. I can keep the 1 or the 2. I'll keep the 2. And I'll roll again. So here I've rolled a 3 and a 4. I already have 4s. So in this case, I'm just going to keep the 3. And I roll again. I get a 3. I've already rolled a 3. I bust it and get nothing. So that's not very good. Let's try it again. This time I'm going to keep, I don't want to keep the 2s. There's too many of them. So I'm going to keep the 4s. So I'm going to start with an 8. I roll again. Ooh, I rolled worms. See, here's the deal. I have to roll some worms. Even if I hadn't busted on the last turn, I would have not got anything because I didn't get any worms. I'm going to take the 3 worms. They're each worth 15. I mean, they're each worth 5, which is 15 total. At this point, I could stop. I have 23, but I want to get something higher than a 23. I can't use the worms. I can't use the 4. I busted again. But let's pretend I didn't bust. Let's pretend I actually rolled 2 5s here. Well, that's not bad. So 15, 25 plus 8, 33. I will take this tile and put it in front of me. And it's going to be worth 4. Now, as you take tiles, you put them on top of the previous tiles you've taken. If someone else rolls that exact number and it's not out there, they can take it from you. Let's say it is under here and someone else rolls a 33. Well, they can't take the 33 because it's already gone, but they could take the 32. If there's no lower numbers, they don't get it. If you take the 11 or 13, they cannot be stolen, which is why they have a box around them. If you take a tile that has one of these special things on it, one of these assistants, you will get that assistant. This green apple is worth 3 points. Why they didn't draw 3 worms on it, I don't know. This one gives you an extra die to roll, which is just 1s and worms. This lets you have a free re-roll. This one here, the black one, when you get that, you take one of these worm tokens here, which is worth a point at the end of the game. This one protects you from busting. Whenever you bust, you have to put back your lowest one, and you'll turn over the highest one here, so that will help make the game go more quickly. And the worm gives you 1 free worm. You don't need to roll worms on your turn. So you can only have one of these assistants at any given point. If you get a second one, you just put it back on a tile where someone else can grab it. Also, if you roll more than 1 1 and you keep them, you get a worm. If all the worms are gone, you just take the worm from another player. And that's it. You're going to keep going till all the tiles are gone or turn face down from failed attempts. When that happens, everyone's just going to count up their points, and whoever has the most points is the winner. The game comes with a plastic insert which shows just how little this game, this game could really fit into a much smaller box. All the tiles are going to fit nicely right down here. The worm tokens fit here. The dice all fit in this spot here. So this bottom part, this big giant bottom part, is literally for the extra stuff. Those pieces, that's it. So the box is way bigger than it needs to be. It's also a tin. Not a big fan of tins because they easily get dented and things like that. But the components inside are really nice. These tiles, you hear that very pleasant clicking. It feels really good. The dice are okay. I mean, Seems like they weren't really colored in the pips that properly. You can even see the difference between these two 5s here. The dice are okay, but the tiles are great. So overall, this is kind of in the middle when it comes to quality. Yep, still don't like it. But I thought I would, right? I thought, well, I might probably calm down on these types of things. It's just too random. It literally is roll dice. Yeah, you get the pseudo thing of picking, like, should I take 3 5s or 2 2s? Sure, I mean, sometimes there's a tough choice to be made. Like if you roll 4 3s, should I take 4 3s or should I take the 1 5? Because those 3s, I might roll them again and get a bunch of 4s. And I still haven't got a worm yet. So there's some choices in there. But honestly, every single time I played this game, the person who rolls best wins. Literally, that's what happens. Now, this is called the Deluxe version. The assistants, the little pieces on top of the tiles, and the extra worm tokens, they're not, you could play without them and play the base game. Don't do that. The assistants at least add some interesting things to the game, some choices. I'm going to take this person and I'm going to use him to do this, and they just give you a little bit more flavor to the game. But it just doesn't work for me. I get that it's an extremely light game. I get that the game has sold a gazillion copies and a lot of people really love it. I'm just not a fan. I wanted to like this game more than I did, but when I roll the dice, I don't feel like I'm making any meaningful choices. I think there's way more choices in Yahtzee, for example. And so this is one I'm going to pass up on. It looks pretty. It's funny, I guess, to say roasted worm meals 10 times. Not the 200 that the rules mentions it, but the Deluxe version's better than the regular version. I'm just not sure I want to own either. Dice Tower Judgment, just too random.